When these knobbly shaped Queen's apples or quinces show up in the market's fruit section, it's time to make Membrillo jelly. The ingredients for Membrillo, it couldn't be simpler. Quinces, also known as Queen's apples, that will be peeled, cored, and cut up into chunks. A lemon that I'm going to peel and use the inside, and this happens to be a lemon without any seeds, because of course you don't want that in your jam. Sugar, and I always like to add a little bit of vanilla extract because I think it makes it a little bit more floral and a little bit creamier. But that's all that it's going to take to do. Now there's two different ways of preparing this. The traditional way is over stovetop, just like you'd make a jam or a jelly. The first time I made this when I was in Spain, I did that. And I spent about an hour and a half stirring the jam on the stovetop. And then I discovered when I bought a Thermomix that I could do it in the Thermomix, put everything in there, and walk away and come back after a certain amount of time. This was definitely the way to go. So let's get started. It's telling me to add that peeled and seeded lemon. In it goes. My next step is to add 400 grams of Membrillo. I've cut this up, peeled it. I like to do that because the flavor is a little bit lighter and the color is a lot lighter than traditionally the type of Membrillo you'd see in a grocery store. The other advantage to this is I can make sure every speck of the core is taken out of this. And to me, that's pretty important. You'll see little bits of white on the core. It'll make it very grainy. And so I'm pretty careful with how I do this. And now we'll set our scale. It's set to 0 and it starts totaling up for me exactly how much I'm putting in there. And remember, I want 400 grams. Now it's telling me add the same amount of sugar. Here's a secret for me though. I don't like to add quite as much sugar. So it's going to ask me to add 400. I can override that. And I'm going to put in about 300 because I like a little less sugar. 325, that's good. It's not science. It'll be tasty either way. Now I'm going to put this lid on, get that nice and secure with no percentage of temperature at all. And I need to dial this up to 5 and then go all the way to 10. That little magic bell tells me this part's done. I'm going to reserve this to the side because I have to do the same exercise all over again. It's really fast work because we have the same puree and it took all of 1 minute to put this all together. And now I'm going to add all the original Membrillo, lemon and sugar that we put in the dish. I'm going to add my secret ingredient, which is a teaspoon of vanilla because I really think it makes it that much creamier. Now we're ready to start the cooking. It's set for 30 minutes, 100 degrees Celsius, and I'm going to dial it up to a speed of 5 and let it go for a half an hour. The bell just went off, tells us it's time to check on this and go to the next stage. So I'm going to remove this lid, take a look inside. It says it wants me to scrape down the sides, but I can tell you it doesn't really look like it needs that at all. We're going to do another 15 minutes, 100 degrees at a speed of 5, which will be a little noisy. So I'll get this dial going and I'll see you in 15. There goes the bell. It tells us the 15 minutes are up and we're all done. So now we're going to take off this lid. You can see all the steam coming out of this. It's wonderful. Look at this beautiful pink rosy color. Our final easy step is to pour it into a lightly oiled glass dish. And once we have this all in here, comes out very easily. You will be amazed though at how solid this becomes. It's just really impressive to me how much pectin is in here that allows it to hold its shape and firm up pretty much into a solid block. I'm just going to smooth it out to the edges, and I'm also going to let it cool just a little bit. Shake it a bit. Make sure it's nice and solid. Taste it. I don't know what it is about this fruit that makes it like an apple, but a little bit more floral. It just has this incredible flavor. Let's cover it with some plastic wrap, and this is going in the refrigerator. 4 hours from now, we can slide this out as a perfect solid block and then slice it up into rectangular shapes. Pair it with some walnuts from our neighbor who has a huge walnut tree, and every year they bring us a big basket of walnuts to shell. And a beautiful cut of manchego cheese. Many times you'll see this served with a semi-curado, a wonderful creamy cheese, but I really love to pair it with an aged manchego because the crunchy, crumbly, salty flavor of it is the perfect marriage with that creamy taste of this fruity membrillo. If you enjoyed this Spanish starter, click on this playlist to explore all kinds of other tapas to try.